What's up, guys? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com, and today we are going to do a quick recap or just go over some of the techniques and lures that I used for this past weekend's tournament at Lake Russell. But before we get into that, I just wanted to give a shout out to the guys that have been continually supporting the channel, always down in the comments. Believe me, I'm noticing you guys and I really appreciate it. Make sure that if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button. Try to put some good information in here that'll help you guys out. But wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the guys that have been in the comments, had some good conversations, and make sure you guys always read those comments because there's some good information in there that may not be covered in the video, but guys add their insight to it, which in a lot of cases will be very helpful. So just wanted to give a shout out to Dimitri Powell, Mike Gardner, T. Krakowski 1, Corey Morton, Chauncey Davis, always in the comments, Reno 954678. Let's see who we have here. Davis Madden. Alright, so this is a high schooler that recently subscribed. Well, actually, he's been a long time subscriber, but he just recently hit me up in the on my Instagram. He had a tournament this past weekend on Lake Russell. He said that the information from the other videos that I had put out helped them out. He got a 3rd place finish, so I just want to say congratulations on that. All right, let's see who else we have. Tyler Goes Fishing, 362nd Campbell. And let's see, it's a lot of guys that are coming in here, so I'm not going to be able to name everybody, but just a few more. TX Nuke 2010, we've had some good conversations back and forth in the comments. And let's see, Darren Pearson, my fellow rod bender. All right, guys, and also Matthew 1981 Bowles. So make sure you guys get active, get down in the comments, because like I said, I'd like to go ahead and help each other out, and we can grow together as we go through this fishing tournament learning process, which is always a learning process. But let's go ahead and get into these lures. So basically, my strategy for this tournament was to go after largemouth in the morning and then head out to some deeper water and just fill out my my limit with spotted bass. So this lake has a lot of small fish in it, so it's kind of a numbers game when they're biting. When I was at this lake maybe about three weeks ago or so, and I put all of these videos for the tournaments and the practice in the comment section so that you guys can go and take a look at that also. But when I was here just a few weeks ago, it was a completely different thing. Fish were biting back to back. I was catching maybe 20 or so fish, and it wasn't really a problem. This time, whenever I got there, the lake was turning over. But we kind of had like a cold front or a decrease in temperature on the water itself. So it kind of changed things up. So when I went to certain places, fish that were there before were gone now. And some of the places still had the fish there, but they just weren't in the mood to bite. So you kind of had to really stay on them and work for each bite that you got. So like I said, I would start out in the morning going for largemouth. And one of the baits that I would start off with, I would try to find some type of structure or something like that that largemouth would relate to. And I would start off with the jig. The reason why I would start off with a jig is because I want to target those bigger fish that may be in there. A lot of times those smaller fish are more aggressive and they may try to get to the bait first. But if you throw something with a little more bulky presentation, then it may attract that bigger fish where that smaller fish may possibly shy away from it. So that'll help you out. On this, I throw this on a 710 extra heavy with 20-pound line. I have a let me see, this is a 3/8 ounce jig, and the trailer on there is a Zoom Z-Crawl. I use some JJ's Magic on there just for some scent and some color, and I like using a fast speed reel on that. So this is a Revo Rocket 8-to-1, actually 9-to-1 gear ratio. So I really like that setup right there. And I did not catch anything on this bait, but like I said, I always like to start off with that because if there are big fish in there, I want to get those fish. All right, so I would use that jig. I would also go with a Texas rig. With the Texas rig, the bait that I chose to use this time was a Zoom Mag 2 worm. But on this, I feel you can pretty much, whatever you feel comfortable with, what is your confident bait, go ahead and put that on that Texas rig. Could be a crossed out bait or something like that. and I always add a little bead on there for sound. And this I was throwing on a 3/16, and I had it pegged, but I would move this peg maybe 3 to 4 inches, sometimes a little more than that, just to allow a little more play with that bait and the weight itself. But that's pretty much the setup. And if you take a look at that, you can see the bead right there in the middle of that, and that just adds a little bit of sound in there for the fish themselves. This setup is pretty much the same that I throw the jig on. This is a 710 extra heavy casting rod, a Ducket Micro Magic. The line on there is going to be 20 pound, and I generally like to throw a Braze X, but that is kind of pricey. So a lot of times I'll go ahead and stick with the red label because that is a little more abrasion resistant. All right, let's see. Another bait that I would keep tied on. So I did catch a few fish on this, but what I found is the fish that were suspended a little higher in the water column, and a lot of times those would be smaller fish. So I was throwing this topwater salmon. Just whenever I would see the fish come up schooling, I would throw that out there. Like I said, I did not really use this too much, but it did get me a few bites, but they did not really help out. All right, now, one of my go-tos is my Shaky Head. And I'll put the link to this full Shaky Head setup video in the description also. This right here, I would pretty much throw this in the morning time with the jig and the Texas rig. I did catch a nice fish on this. I believe I caught 1 or 2 good keepers on this, a largemouth and a spot. But with this setup, like I said, I'll put the link in the description so you can see the full setup and details on that. So I do have a second setup that is pretty much a duplicate of that setup there. The only difference is I chose to go ahead and put this on a Texas rig instead of a Shaky Head. And the reason why I did that is a lot of times it's easier for me to keep bottom contact when I'm using a spinning rod. So I did want to use a Texas rig, and to make sure I stayed on the bottom, went ahead and put it on a spinning combo. With this, it was the same thing as the other one, a 3/16 lead weight with the little glass bead on here for a little extra sound. And on this, I just put like a speed crawl or any type of creature bait just to try something different. And like I said, to maintain bottom contact. And when I say bottom contact, it was on some type of cover that I would be throwing this on mainly, that I would be able to locate and make my precise cast using the 360. All right, so the grand finale, the bait that did, well, the technique that did most of the damage for me was my drop shot. And I will definitely put the link to the video for this in the description, where I go over a full breakdown, show how I pretty much fished this and everything. I'll put that in the description, so make sure you follow that too. So with this, once I would move out to that deeper water, I would mainly focus on throwing, dropping this drop shot to fish that I could see. But the issue is, like I was saying, is even when I found the fish, they would not bite. So I had to keep pretty much a handful of just different baits. So to me, the baits may not have been the key factor in that. It may have just been locating the fish at the time that they were ready to bite. So, as you saw, it was 2 tough days on the water. I was able to pull out 5 on them. But the second day, not so lucky. And as you saw, that one that broke me off in the, 2 of them that broke me off, I was using InvisX, 8-pound InvisX line. But from my experience, that red label is a little more abrasion resistance, or maybe a lot more, because those 2 fish, they snapped the line. But I was trying out that InvisX. Should have stuck with the red label, but I definitely have switched back to the red label now. So that's pretty much my recap, guys. I'll put the link to the videos in the description, as I said. So make sure you guys take a look at that. If you have any questions, please leave those down in the comment section. Please take a look at the comments. And as always, guys, please hit the like button. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Next stop, Lake Lanier. See you on the next one, guys.